Hello, my name is Yaroslav Yemzhakov, and I'm an English teacher living in St. Petersburg, Russia. And that's my course, IELTS X-Rays. Today, I'm going to show you a straightforward technique to deal with IELTS matching tasks. And the principle of my training is that in the IELTS tests, we should deal with English word, not with the English sentence. In other words, to do the tasks of this test, we do not have to read the sentences. It's fairly enough to view any text as a set of words, separate words and phrases. And this approach will help you save your time and even understand the tasks more clearly. So we are not reading, we are just searching for words. And today we are going to deal with the text I have already worked with in one of my previous videos. The title of the text is Collecting and Specimens. In that video I dealt with the true false not given task questions 27 to 30. And you may use the link here if you're interested. Now I would like to show you a technique to deal with matching tasks. Well, matching task for the same text. Question 31 to 36. Classify the following statements as referring to A. Hand collection, B. Using bait, C. Sampling ground leader, and D. Using a pitfall trap. And we see 6 statements. 31. It is preferable to take specimens from groups of ants. 32. It is particularly effective for wet habitats. 33. It is a good method for species which are hard to find. 34. Little time and effort is required. 35. Separate containers are used for individual specimens. And the last one, 36. Non-alcoholic preservative should be used. And the first point is that usually we get it all wrong. We do not understand which words are important or key words as they are often called. Yeah, many teachers ask you to focus on these keywords, not explaining which words they mean exactly. So I'm going to give you a criterion. And you should start with the title. And here the title of the text is Collecting and Specimens. That's important. And looking at question 31, for example, it is preferable to take specimens from groups of ants. Can you say which words are the key ones? Well, so they are preferable and groups. That's all. So why? Well, the logic is as follows. All the words or phrases fitting into the main topic of the text are of low priority in any IELTS tasks. That is the principle of prioritization. And the main topic of a text is usually stated in the title of an IELTS academic reading text. In this case, it means that we should lower the priority of any words or phrases fitting into the topic collecting and specimens. So, first, take specimens means collecting. We should lower the priority of this phrase, and ants are ants, and they are everywhere in the text. So the principle of prioritization is that we lower the priority of any words or phrases fitting into the main topic of the text as they scattered all around the text, and usually all the questions are formulated using odd words or words which do not fit into the main topic of the text. So to find the answer, to this question, you should look for matches for the words preferable and groups. Here we come to one more important IELTS skill, and that is matching words. In general, you can match words if you understand that two words or two phrases mean the same. Well, as it was just a second ago we got here, I mean that take specimens means the same as collecting specimens. So that is a match. So all the IELTS tasks are based on this skill of matching words and phrases. And you may have used this skill without being aware of what you are doing. But it is better to train the skill consciously. So going back to the text and the question, to find the answer, you should look for matches for preferable and groups. And be careful. You should look for matches, first of all. If you find the very word preferable, for example, in the text, this must be a wrong way to follow. You should find the key words, you should find these words expressed differently. And one more thing to help you. Well, if a word in a task is singular, the match will be singular. And if it is plural, as we get here in groups, the match for the word will also be plural. So just to show you the way to tackle the task. And here, let's look. Here is a paragraph where you may find the answer to this question. Let us do it right now. So let us use prioritization as it is explained in my previous videos. So this prioritization means that we track only odd words. These are words not fitting into the main topic of the text or not being the body of the text. For further details, use the link. So our goal is matches for preferable and groups of ends. And the last one, groups, seems to be easier to find as it should be plural. And we spot first several methods, then baits, then pitfall traps, and then rocks, logs, then other objects on the ground, then trees, then tree trunks. After that we come across nests or foraging columns, and then what? Nests or foraging columns? Isn't that a match for groups of ants? Surely it is. So let us read the sentence, and we get collections should be made from nests or foraging columns. So we got it. And what about a match for preferable? Is there a match? Oh yes, there is. And I think it's increase their value in the text, which is surely always preferable. So the last thing to do is to get the right letter A, B, C, or D. A, hand collection, B, using bait, C, sampling ground litter, and D, using a pitfall trap. Can you see it? Well, here it is. In the paragraph we read, hand collecting consists of, and that's it. We understand that. It's all about hand collections. So that is the answer. And be aware of what keywords are. Now the task is, you can think, well, for a minute, to understand, try to understand what is important in the next 5 statements. So you get a minute to find the key words in each statement, 32 to 36. And to do the job, you get a minute. Well, the time is up, and we get the key words. They are in dark print. You should get you should get used to the idea that words in a statement are of different priorities. And sometimes the words which seem to be not very important at first, well, turn to be crucial. Take question 32, for example. 32. It is particularly effective for wet habitats. I bet you consider wet habitats as the most important, but I think it might be very difficult to find matches for that. But particularly effective may be even easier to localize in the text. So, looking at the text as it is, well, we can understand that each paragraph is about one of the ways to collect ants. You remember we found that the second paragraph is about hand collection, because here we see it in the text and we understand that this paragraph is about hand collection. So let's look at the third paragraph. So we spot baits can be used, and we understand that it is all about bee using bait. The fourth paragraph. Well, first we spot collecting these species by hand can be difficult, and we understand that it is all about something else. And reading further, we get together the leaf litter, and we match C, sampling ground litter, and the paragraph. And now we understand that these A, hand collection, B, using bait, C, sampling ground litter, and D, using a pitfall trap, just refer to different paragraphs, that's all. So the task is now to match paragraphs and the questions. Okay, so let us go back to the paragraph we have been working with here. As we understand that it is all about hand collection. So, any more questions from the list 32 to 36 to add letter A, hand collection? Well, scanning the paragraph at the bottom of it, we spot individual insects are placed in plastic or glass tubes. So we find matches individual, there, and plastic or glass tubes is a match for containers. And you see that I was right saying that plural words get plural matches. So here is the answer, 35A. Next, let us move on. Paragraph, we can call it paragraph B, using bait. Now, as we understand, so prioritization for the paragraph, and we spot otherwise elusive and easier to spot. Both are matches for hard to find. And we get one more answer. That's it. Next, C. Sampling ground litter. So you should train your skill of prioritization. It means that here you should scan the paragraph paying attention only to odd words. And we come across a sentence. This method works especially well in rainforests and marshy areas. and we get a match. Works especially well and particularly effective. And then rainforests and marshy areas match wet habitats. And again, a plural gets a plural match. Here we see. And we get the last paragraph to deal with, the using a pitfall trap. So let us find, well, alcohol first. Got it? And we read this sentence. Oh no, I don't want to read it out loud. So this is something about ethylene in the text. Well, you see it. And here we understand that we get one more answer, 36D. They only left here. Well, and to find the answer, well, to be sure that it's all about this paragraph, the first step, we spot time in the paragraph. And we get a match for little. In the paragraph that is minimal. And lastly, a match for effort. And it is maintenance and intervention in the text. Well, that's it. 36D, 34D. Well, personally, honestly, I do not understand why 36 is D. Well, yeah, it's the best option, but you know, strictly speaking, no clues that it takes little time, as it is stated over a period of time. Well, I can see literal effort as minimal maintenance. Yeah, I agree, but what about time? Well, I mean that doing the task, just reading the text, I may get confused, but the method of doing this just by searching for words help me avoid such problems, and you see, this technique works. And that's all from me. That was Yaroslav Yumzhakov and the course IELTS X-Rays.